The illusion of chaos. Every time oil prices spike, the explanation is familiar. A war broke out. A pipeline was damaged. Demand unexpectedly increased. Supply temporarily fell. The story we're told is simple. Oil prices move because the world is unpredictable. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Oil prices are volatile not because the system is broken, but because volatility is useful. If stability was the goal, the tools already exist. Strategic reserves, production buffers, long-term pricing mechanisms, emergency coordination between producers and consumers. Yet these tools are rarely used to prevent price shocks. They're used to manage the fallout after damage is already done. And that raises a deeper question. Who benefits from oil prices that never truly stabilize? Oil is not a commodity, it's leverage. Oil is officially classified as a commodity. In practice, it behaves more like a geopolitical lever. Unlike most goods, oil touches everything at once. Transportation, food prices, industrial production, inflation, interest rates, political stability. A $10 increase in oil prices can quietly destabilize entire regions without a single shot being fired. This makes oil uniquely powerful. Whoever influences its price doesn't just earn money. They influence elections, currencies, and global alliances. That's why oil markets are never fully free. They're managed arenas of pressure. OPEC Plus and the art of controlled uncertainty. On paper, OPEC Plus exists to stabilize oil markets. In reality, it specializes in something far more valuable. Predictable unpredictability. Production cuts are announced vaguely. Targets are flexible. Compliance is selectively enforced. This creates a constant background signal to markets. Oil supply is never guaranteed. The result? Traders price in fear. Governments hedge aggressively. Consumers absorb higher costs just in case. Stability would lower profits and reduce leverage. Uncertainty does the opposite. Why the US doesn't truly want cheap oil? It sounds counterintuitive. Wouldn't the world's largest consumer want permanently low oil prices? Not exactly. Cheap oil weakens domestic producers, reduces energy investment, increases dependence on foreign supply. Expensive oil within limits strengthens US shale, boosts energy sector employment, increases geopolitical bargaining power. The US doesn't want high oil prices. It wants manageable volatility, just enough pressure to keep everyone negotiating. Strategic petroleum reserves, a psychological weapon. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve is often described as an emergency tool, but its real function is signaling. Releasing oil tells markets, we're watching. Not releasing oil says something louder. We're allowing this. Every decision to intervene, or not, reshapes expectations. And expectations move prices more efficiently than barrels ever could. Financial markets, the invisible amplifier. Oil prices aren't set by physical shortages alone. They're set by expectations traded at massive scale. Futures markets, options, hedging instruments, speculative positions. A relatively small disruption can trigger enormous price swings if financial players believe instability will last. And those beliefs don't emerge randomly. They're shaped by political signaling, diplomatic silence. Why no one coordinates to end the game? In theory, the major powers could coordinate. Producers stabilize supply. Consumers guarantee demand. Financial regulators limit speculation. In practice, this would remove leverage from everyone. Producers would lose pricing power. Consumers would lose pressure tools. Financial institutions would lose volatility-driven profits. The oil price game continues because stopping it would require collective restraint. And restraint is strategically irrational in a competitive world. The real cost is political, not economic. High oil prices don't just raise costs. They accelerate inflation, force interest rate hikes, slow economic growth, fuel public anger. Governments fall because of energy prices. Not overnight, but gradually. Oil volatility quietly reshapes political landscapes without appearing as a direct cause. That's why it's tolerated. What they're not telling you. No one publicly admits this. But oil prices are allowed to fluctuate because instability keeps negotiations open. Volatility disciplines weaker economies. Pressure reveals political alignment. In geopolitics, predictability reduces influence. Oil remains unpredictable by design. The endgame. The oil price game won't end with renewables. It will evolve. Energy transitions don't remove power struggles. They relocate them. Lithium, rare earths, electric grids, energy storage. Oil is simply the current battlefield, and no one is stopping the game because everyone with power is still playing. If you're interested in similar hidden power dynamics, subscribe to the channel. Conclusion. When you stop asking why is oil expensive and start asking who needs it this way. 1. The question everyone asks and the one that actually matters. Most people end an oil story with frustration. Why is fuel so expensive? Why does it keep changing? Why can't governments just fix it? But these questions assume something that was never true. That oil prices are meant to be stable. Once you step back from the headlines, a different question emerges, quieter, more uncomfortable, and far more revealing. Who benefits from oil prices that never fully settle? Because systems that last this long across wars, recessions, political shifts, and technological revolutions are rarely accidental. They survive because they serve a function. 2. Oil as a system of pressure, not supply. The previous story showed how oil moves through markets, diplomacy, and finance. The conclusion is simpler and darker. Oil is not primarily about energy anymore. It is about pressure management. Pressure on governments, currencies, consumers, alliances, long-term planning. A stable oil price would reduce pressure everywhere at once. And pressure is the raw material of power. Without pressure, negotiations lose urgency. Alliances lose discipline. Weaker economies gain breathing room. Oil prices remain volatile because volatility preserves hierarchy. 3. Why no one ever wins the oil game, but everyone keeps playing. There is no final winner in the oil price game. Producers suffer when prices fall too low. Consumers suffer when prices rise too high. Politicians suffer when volatility becomes visible. Markets suffer when shocks are too sudden. Yet the game continues. Why? Because even when players lose tactically, they win strategically. Volatility allows everyone with leverage to delay decisions, renegotiate terms, reset expectations, justify extraordinary actions. The oil game is not about profit maximization alone. It is about option preservation. 4. The public cost is the point, not the side effect. From the outside, it looks cruel. Families pay more at the pump. Food prices rise. Inflation erodes savings. Political anger grows. This is usually framed as collateral damage. But in power systems, public discomfort often performs a function. Economic pressure disciplines voters, reshapes political priorities, narrows acceptable policy options. High energy costs quietly enforce realism. They limit how far governments can drift from economic constraints without needing force. 5. Why transparency would be more dangerous than manipulation. People often demand transparency in energy markets, but full transparency would do something dangerous. It would reveal that instability is tolerated, coordination is selective, intervention is discretionary. Once people realize volatility is allowed, not inevitable, trust collapses. And trust, once lost, is harder to manage than prices. So ambiguity remains the preferred strategy. Unclear statements, delayed responses, vague commitments. Uncertainty protects the system better than honesty ever could. 6. The myth of the energy transition as an ending. Many believe renewables will end the oil price game. They won't. They will change the pieces, not the logic. Energy transitions do not remove power struggles. They redistribute them. Lithium replaces oil fields. Grids replace pipelines. Storage replaces reserves. The same question will apply. Who benefits from instability? The oil story is not a warning about the past. It is a blueprint for the future. 7. What this story is not saying. This conclusion is not claiming a single mastermind, a secret council, perfect control. Power systems are messier than conspiracies. They emerge from incentives, not commands. No one has to agree explicitly for the system to function. They only need to act rationally within it. And within the oil system, rational behavior produces instability. 8. The quiet truth behind market forces. Market forces is one of the most effective political phrases ever invented. It removes agency. It removes accountability. It removes intention. But markets are not natural phenomena like weather. They are structured environments with rules, boundaries, and tolerated behaviors. Oil prices move within a corridor of acceptable chaos. Too stable, intervention appears. Too unstable, intervention appears. The space in between is where power operates invisibly. 9. Why this understanding changes how you see the news. Once you understand this framework, headlines look different. A production cut is no longer a surprise. A delayed response is no longer incompetence. A price spike is no longer accidental. They become signals, not messages to the public, but to other players. The news is the surface. The game is underneath. 10. The real conclusion. No one is stopping the oil price game because stopping it would require something geopolitics has never sustained for long. Collective restraint. As long as power is competitive, as long as leverage matters, as long as pressure shapes outcomes, oil prices will remain unstable by design, not by failure. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as intended. Understanding this doesn't make fuel cheaper, but it does make the world more legible. And once you see the pattern, you stop asking why chaos keeps returning and start recognizing who needs it that way. If you're interested in similar hidden power dynamics, subscribe to the channel.